The misadventures of Benny the Butcher and those dastardly, diabolical rap nerds.
Hey, yo, y'all see what state the game is in when the streets don't hold the culture of the game? Now that the weird Twitter nerds and the nerds and all of these weird motherfuckers got, you know what I mean, they got their hands on the culture. The street, the voice of the streets don't mean as much as it did when we was coming up. There was a lot of cons to that as well. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say that, but you see what happened when the streets, you know what I mean, don't control the game no more. It's a lot of going on, man. And a lot of people's okay with it because they're niggas, man.
What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. Listen, I got a sneaky feeling that I'm going to be here for a while. This is a very, I know it seems simplistic and kind of basic, but this is a very layered and very complex issue that I want to discuss. It is the odyssey of hip hop and who runs it, who controls it. Those dastardly rap nerds or them infamous street niggas, right? I want to talk about this because Benny the Butcher went on a rant and it's so much to unpack. I would say get your snacks, gang. Get your bologna and cheese sandwiches on wheat. Get you some toasty oats. Get you some banana cream pie, gang. I'm going to be here for a while because this has so many. I was about to do a video and I'm still going to do it called Hip Hop Loves Cocaine Rap. I'm going to do that real soon, maybe in the next day or two, right? Hip hop loves cocaine rap, but bigger than that, hip hop itself, we're looked at as we are a culture that came from the streets, and therefore most of the people who do it and succeed in it are street level people, right? I'm just going to be honest. That is what it was always meant to be, and that is what it will always be, no matter who gets in it, who jumps in it, who can spit a verse, who can co-op rap, who can gentrify it. Is always going to be a black culture thing from day one. And one of the things that we have stamped in hip hop is its relevancy to the streets. I keep telling you from day one, the very first hip hop movie called Wild Style, they literally get robbed. In the very first hip hop movie, someone gets robbed in the streets. So this is always going to be a street culture. With that being said, it could never have gotten where it is without those dastardly rap nerds. And this has been prevalent since the 80s, gang, the 70s and 80s, when they first started rapping and doing hip hop to a degree, right? Breakdancing, this, that, and the third. When they started to actually make some real money, gang, this is all facts. You can look it up, do your own research. They started to make money when they started to be asked to come downtown and perform. They started to be asked to come have their culture shown in exhibits. The graffiti guys started getting paid for their art, right? To put it in art exhibits and things of that nature. The rappers started to get paid to come downtown and rap in those venues that formerly only did heavy metal and rock and things of that nature. So the rappers started to be invited there and they started to get paid. And guess who's in those venues, gang? You guessed it, a bunch of white rap nerds or whatever. They weren't rap nerds yet because they hadn't heard of it, but they started to really embrace the culture. They started to really embrace new forms of music, which hip hop was a brand new form of music. It was a baby being born. And those people that Benny the Butcher, literally, this gonna be brutal, gang. Benny the Butcher despises these people. If you listen to him talk, but I'm gonna get there. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. I told you I'm gonna be here for a while. Get you some Cheerios, maybe the Honey Nut Cheerios. They got some real good Honey Nut Cheerios. They got some real good, I think the apple ones taste like apples. Get you some of those, gang. I'm going to be here for a while. But Benny the Butcher, he's been going on a rant lately, gang, and it's deeper than you think, and it's deeper in many ways because it has more to do with himself and it has more to do with his team than it actually has to do with these dastardly rap nerds. And I get it, these rap nerds, they get on your nerves, this, that, and the third. They always got something to say. One of my biggest and worst, gang, it to this day, it burns me. I'll never, ever forget it. Had to be 17, 18 years ago, I got into it on Twitter with this guy, right? White kid, and he was telling me, who born and raised in hip hop, right? Telling me that no self-respecting MC would use another rapper's lyrics. That's biting. I said, well, you pay, every rapper in the game has paid homage, gang. Like, that's what rappers do. We could spit a little part of your lyric as a homage to you. And he went back and forth. That ain't hip hop. Name me rappers. You can't name me 2 rappers that have ever done that weren't biting. I said, listen, we had a whole conversation about hip hop. And this kid was talking to me. I'm guaranteeing you, this kid was probably 15 years younger than me. And he was telling me about hip hop. A typical dastardly rap nerd telling a guy that really was in this shit since day one. From the beginning, I was there in the 70s when it started. I was a little kid, but I was there, right? But he's telling me, and this is one of those rap nerds who know it all. They've put this thing into stat books and they've made charts and graphs. And they're telling you who's number one based on whatever charts and whatever metrics that they've decided matter, right? One of the most popular videos that I did a reaction to it. Almost every YouTuber reacted to it. The 7 level of rapper that came out earlier this year. We all had something to say and we thought he was cooking. But this guy clearly was a white guy, right? Clearly a rap nerd, clearly knew what he was talking about because he pretty much almost got the whole thing right. He did the 7 layers. He went from the trash rappers all the way up to Kendrick and Rakim and this, that, and the third. Didn't miss a beat, and a lot of us thought that he was on point. But end of the day, that's what we would call one of these weird rap nerds, right? Because he's not of the culture. Now, Benny the Butcher, gang, this is a touchy subject because what Benny the Butcher said, he didn't articulate it right? He didn't articulate it right, and I'll give him that. And I'm 100% kind of with my head kind of sideways, like, Benny, like I get it what you're saying. But I want to tap in and break down what he's saying because there are pros and cons. And what he was trying to say, it's 100% wonky, gang. We're not going to do that. But he does have a point in what he's trying to say now. When I say he has a point, what he's trying to say is there's a lot of voices in this game right now. But what Benny doesn't understand is there's always been a lot of voices in this game, Benny. You aren't just all of a sudden the last 5 years, these rap nerds, and it's not just white guys, it's not just Chinese guys or whatever, Asian guys or whatever. It's all kind of cultures. Even the black guys are rap nerds because you can literally be you can live right in Flatbush, Brooklyn and still be a nerd. So it ain't about you're some white guy from Nebraska. No, he's trying to say that you're not rough and tough and have this whole thing with cocaine and this, that, and the third, and you never been to jail. Like all this tough street shit that has been a myth forever. Now, what Benny is not telling you or he doesn't understand, first of all, Benny's 40 years old. But Benny was raised just like I was when you really learned what the world was about. You learned it from your hood like me and Benny did, and you learned in a bubble, a box of hood shit. You learned it from the music, the clothes, the people around you, the stories you were told, the news you watched, the things you were fed in that community. And some of those things jaded you to thinking that that's how the whole world acted. A lot of dudes do shit on the block because they ain't been off that block. So Benny is one of them guys that was on that block for a very long time and got ingrained in this hustling and this, that, and the third, right? All this stirred up in a pot, cook it up, da-da-da. And for a time, it was good in hip-hop. That's all people wanted to hear, right? That's all people wanted to talk about. For a time, through the late 90s, all the way up through the mid-2000s, right? Before they let all this emo stuff get in, all this emo rap started to come in. After Kanye made it cool to be emo with the pink shirts and this, that, and the third. Before that, you had DMX, you had the Locks, you know what I mean? You had Jewel Santana, you had a lot of cocaine cooked and a lot of drugs were sold. Let's just keep it at that, right? A lot of $1,000 jeans were purchased and a lot of diamonds and gold. That's the era Benny is coming from, and that's what he's talking about, right? Now, I'm just going to be honest. Some people from that era, they never evolved with the times. They never elevated. I took a long, hard look at this thing. Now, you remember, we've had hip-hop message boards, Yahoo Messenger, like Yahoo been around for 20 years, over 20 years. So we've had message boards, people talking about rap for many, many years. It has never been where the streets held rap in a chokehold. No, the myth of the streets, the whole idea, the image that the streets were running, they weren't running anything. A lot of the rappers got up there and told their story, and a lot of their stories were street related. So a lot of those stories they hit the airwaves, they hit the radio, they hit the MTVs and the BETs, right? And it was for lack of a better word, it looked like it was glorifying a certain lifestyle, and it became a thing where those labels, those diabolical rap labels started to say, the street stuff sells. Let's get more of that. Let's get less of that black consciousness that you guys were wearing those dashikis for 2 years, and then you had the black power fists and them fist picks you guys were rocking with them wooden necklaces you were rocking, right? We need less of that. Less of that red, black, and green, right? The Humpty Hump when Shock G and them was Afrocentric. We need less of that. We need more of the bang, 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 and all of my 9mm. We need more of that. We need more of that. F the police and this, that, and the third. So the label started to sign and not sign stuff based on what they thought was going to sell and the imagery they wanted to push. The imagery started to get more and more street, more and more hood. Now, if you really live in these places, gang, and you're being honest, that street stuff isn't the whole story. You got Hattie Mae that has she has all the candy in her house. She's the candy lady. It's a whole lot of beautiful things going on in the hood. You got a lot of people getting up 5 o'clock in the morning, going to work, doing 2 and 3 jobs. They're sending their kids to school with new clothes, and their hair is braided and this, that, and the third. Everybody clean. They're not letting you walk out the house dirty. It's a lot of good stuff going on in the hood. Beautiful things. They're teaching you. They're making you go to Sunday school, and then you got to go to church right after that. It's a lot of stuff going on, but if you're trying to portray an image, you're trying to portray a stereotype, then you're going to hire more people portraying that stereotype. It got to a point where almost, I'm just going to be honest, 85% of the rappers, let me just say it like this, they weren't the brightest bulbs, right? They weren't the brightest bulbs in the bunch, but they can make them labels a whole lot of money, talking a lot of ignorance. And whereas before you would want to have the people who were really articulate and really had something meaningful to say, it became, no, we want to get that ignorant ass rapper and hear what he's talking about. It became a thing where the rappers' interviews made more sense than a daggone thespian, somebody who went to school for acting and was on Broadway. They didn't want to hear what the hell he had to say. They want to hear what the rapper had to say. Then it got to a point they wanted to put the rappers in all the movies and all the damn TV shows. The actors started being like, yo, why you'll hire a rapper that never even read a script? You start getting LL Cool J and Ice Cube and Will Smith, who Will Smith admittedly couldn't act for shit when he first got on Fresh Prince. He had theater trained actors in there that were frustrated. But that's where it became, where rap became so popular, right? It became so ahead of its, it ruled the era of its time, right? At one point, everything revolved around what rap was doing. They had to acknowledge rap at the Grammys. They had to acknowledge rap in every kind of form of award shows, Emmys, everything, because they were putting rap on TV shows and everywhere. So it became a thing where we're going to include rap. And for your shows, when they started trying to make these gritty shows like New York Undercover and this, that, and the third, well, they're going to have an infamous rapper episode where some rapper gets killed or shoots somebody. So rappers were being incorporated in everything. They started making movies about rappers, right? They started to make rap-orientated movies, Juice and this, that, and the third. So it became a thing where black culture, the grittiest of it, which was rap, started to become mainstream. They started to make some really good movies about some very hip-hop related topics. So at one point, it looked like the streets, right? The streets that he's talking about, gang, and I use this word a lot, and I like Benny the Butcher, but I'm just going to have to call it this nigga logic. We're right back there again, gang. I gotta call a spade a spade. This is 100% nigga logic, but we're going to break down what he means with this nigga logic. Now, what happened with this, it looked like the streets was running everything, and we had to have this tough, like when TLC and all that shit was coming out with the baggy pants and the jerseys and the hats on back, was at one point, it was a uniform, right? You had your big giant jersey and they started putting band-aids under their eye, just weird stuff. Like they started wearing bandanas with rhinestones on them. It was crazy. It was a weird time, gang. It was a weird time. Don't get me wrong. I look back on it with fondness because I had the big baggy pants and this, that, and the third, and you just had to look a certain way, even if you didn't grow up that way or you didn't feel that way. We had mainstream R&B white and black, starting to dress like the rappers. Let's just be honest. Let's call it what it is. A lot of these rap, remember, Miley Cyrus came out with a jersey on, right? So it became a thing where you wanted to look street, right? And you wanted to dance street. They started naming certain dances. They started teaching each other how to do these dances. You can go to class and learn how to dance street, right? So for a time, it was good. And that's what Benny's referring to. The streets were running things. Well, Benny don't understand. The only reason those streets appear to be running things because those nerds, right? They were buying up this stuff in bulk. They couldn't get enough of it because when you don't live that lifestyle, it's entertaining, it's fun, it's cool. You think, oh my God, what would I do if I was in there? Oh my God, I've never been to jail. What is it like to be in jail? They want to hear your story. So it's not that you're running anything. You can't go number one. I say this all the time. You can't go number one without those nerds. You will not be a number one rapper. You will not have the record sales. You will have an empty. This has been a topic of contention for a long time. If you say no white people in my shows, you ain't gonna have that many people in your shows. If you say I only want street niggas in my shows from now on, your show gonna be empty as hell. Because the culture, right? Your favorite rapper, Kendrick, is he's blowing these shows out the water. All these rappers, Drake, everybody you want to name, they got all these shows. But guess who in them shows? It ain't a whole bunch of street niggas. Just gonna be honest. So what these guys don't understand, what Benny don't understand is when Griselda was making all that noise, what was it? About 9 years ago? 10 years ago, when there was this group out of Albany. I mean, where they from? Is it Albany? Where they from? Up in New York, upstate New York, right? These guys from upstate New York, they're bringing it back. They're bringing back boom bap. They're bringing back real hip hop. They're keeping it simple. They're if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got to check out Griselda. Everybody was talking about Griselda. Maybe 12 years ago. Everybody's talking about Griselda, Benny the Butcher, West Side Gun, right? Conway the Machine. And for a time, it was good. And they were a breath of fresh air, right? They had a whole lot of people behind their back. Well, guess who was at them shows buying them hoodies and pushing that narrative that Griselda, no, fuck that. You need to listen to Griselda. Fuck all that Drake bullshit and listen to Griselda. Da-da-da. Guess who it was? Is those self-proclaimed rap nerds that you mad at. And we're going to talk about why he's mad at it. But those are the people pushing the narrative that Griselda needed to be checked out. We needed to find out, and you need to lock in with Griselda, this new phenomenon, right? They wasn't doing shit new. They was doing the shit the way you supposed to do it. But it had gotten so wonky, like I said, with the emo rap, and you got drill and all this shit, where people ain't taking time to say these clever, witty lines. Rap had fallen out of grace, and it had become a shell of itself. Let's just be honest. A lot of us old heads were like scratching our heads, like, what is this shit? We don't like this new shit. And this is where you got that divide, old head, new YNs versus old head. And it was this divide, like, fuck this NBA young boys. What is this bullshit? Like, so the old heads couldn't get with it, but guess what? It was some guys coming. They were going to save us. They were going to change us with their cocaine rap, right? Let's be honest. But end of the day, they were talking real rap. And what happened was they were doing it in a very clever way. They were giving us back our lo-fi beats, right? They were giving us our soul samples back, right? They were giving us those beatless, those beatless beats with no snare and no drum, no bass kick. Like, we loved it. We were in awe of that shit. And for a time, it was very good. And everyone was pushing the narrative. Street niggas or not street niggas, right? End of the day, it became very cool to like Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine, West Side Gun, right? For what it's worth, 38 Special and Stove God Cooks and all that shit like that. We were loving that stuff, right? And we still do. We still do. But what's happening is, and like I said, we're going to get to this right here, Benny right now is getting frustrated because what's going on, and I've noticed that he's been progressively complaining more and more online. And what I think, and this, like I said, it's gonna get brutal because I want to be honest with Benny, and this is just talking to me and you, Benny. What's going on, Benny? I feel like Griselda as a whole, for one, they're pumping out too much music. I know you're supposed to do it the way they're doing it, textbook. Keep them coming. Don't stop. Just keep pumping. I get a new alert for a new Benny the Butcher song probably every month. It's him, it's the Black Family. That all it's you can't even keep up with it. And that's good. They tell you, who says that? Russ, I think it's Russ, right? Russ said, you need to put out music every Friday. Just keep putting out new music constantly. If you're trying to keep your buzz out there, keep putting out singles. Just drop a new single. Supposed to drop a new single every fucking week. That's what you're supposed to do. But I think Griselda and Benny the Butcher might be oversaturating themselves. And when you oversaturate yourself, your fan base gets fatigued and your numbers don't be what they used to be. I'm just going to be honest. Now, I don't know what their numbers are, but I do have a feeling that it's getting a little fatigued because I'm fatigued with it. I'm just going to be honest. I can't even listen to all the Benny the Butcher stuff that comes out. Can't listen to every Conway single that drops. I can't listen to every West Side Gun, right? I'm just a gentleman that likes to hear complete works of art. I like to hear concept albums. That's a fault of mine. I don't listen to a lot of singles. Now, I'll go play their single. I'll play it here and there. I don't go and play singles on repeat. That's not me. That's for a newer crowd. These rap nerds, they'll play your single, play it, they'll loop it 85 times. I don't do that. So the crowd you're talking about, the street nigga crowd that's gonna listen to the street nigga music or whatever, and believe me, I'm from the same streets you talking about, right? But I learned a long time ago, that street nigga shit, that is a myth. That is something that people try to portray. It's some people that grew up where you were and some like-minded things and they can relate to what you're saying. And yeah, we're listening to it, but there's a lot of people that have no idea what you're saying and they're listening to it to understand and they think that it's really cool what you're saying, right? So you're talking to two different crowds at the same time, but you're trying to say that the street crowd is better some kind of way. No, Benny, no one would care if these rap nerds that you're talking about, these weirdos, weren't talking about you in the first place. They're the ones that pushed you to the street niggas. If anybody street is listening to you, it's because the weirdos said you were good. Let's just be honest. Street dudes ain't looking for new music. They're not looking for it. It's given to them. Someone says, listen, you got to hear this, da-da-da. I promise you, Benny, your grind and your hustle was not built on street niggas. I'm just going to be honest with you. This big bank bag that you got and all this jewelry you got, that wasn't from the street niggas. You know how street niggas is. Street niggas is mad finicky. And a lot of these street dudes, they don't even want to hear your shit till you already pop it. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. And you already got to have the diamonds and all. You got to be all locked in with all this shit before they even think about saying you nice or whatever. You can't be like, I'm a struggling rapper trying to make it. They're going to be like, well, keep struggling. It's the weirdos and the rap nerds, those devious, diabolical nerds that you're mad at. Them the ones that's going to give you the time to sit down and listen and break down your lyrics and sit there and remember, well, and oh, hey, he had this. And then 2011, he came back. They're the ones going to remember those stats that you're putting up. You need them street niggas, Benny. I don't know who you talking about. I'm sorry, you need them rap nerds. The street niggas gonna come, but the rap nerds is gonna keep you going. Let's just be honest, gang. So, yes, you're saying, what he's trying to say is, rap right now, it's too many voices. But Benny, it was always a lot of voices. If you go back, like I was saying, and them rap chat groups and all that shit, they were always, I remember 20 years ago, there were rap groups, rap chat groups, people were talking about hip hop way back. And they were shaping narratives way back. It wasn't about, oh, the streets was set. No, you just was in the streets. You were at home in your bubble on your block. And you guys talked about these tapes and CDs a certain kind of way that you thought only you guys were involved with it. You didn't see the bigger picture. That is mad motherfuckers all over the world talking about the same shit you're talking about. You thought that the streets was controlling the narrative. Most of these guys, you name me your top 10 street rappers that you thought was controlling the game, and I guarantee you, them motherfuckers only had another record came out because a lot of these people that weren't in the streets at all bought that first record. So no, the streets didn't. 9 times out of 10, gang, let's just be honest, street bootlegging shit. Half the niggas you talking about that was bumping the shit in the street, they did not go to the store to buy it. They burnt it, they bootlegged it. They got it from their man. So a lot of these rappers that we're talking about was running shit. They really only was running shit because the people that really got the money to go and buy that record and buy that CD and buy that merch was the furthest thing from the streets. Some white kid in Wyoming or upstate, wherever, and he was paying for that shit, and he's going online telling everybody to listen to it. And then he built a fan base, or he made a Discord or some shit, and they're talking about you, how great you are, right? Fucking Jay Electronica got a Discord and all these motherfuckers trying to be his fans. He's trying to kick him out. So what I'm saying is all of this stuff that you thought was, oh, these street niggas is running shit. No, You're on your hood bumping whatever street shit, whatever Jim Jones CD or the Diplomats or whatever y'all was bumping that you thought was whatever. Yeah, niggas bought CDs in the hood. Don't get it fucked up. But at the end of the day, the dudes in the streets cannot carry this culture. They can't. It's absolutely impossible. It's impossible. So we're in a state where your records are selling or you're getting your streams because people that aren't in no way, shape, or form in the streets are paying attention to you, Benny. That is your audience, the street nerds. Now, he's calling them nerds, and he has a real disdain for them because, for one, Benny has this mind state. It's a warped mind state, and I had to get out of this shit a very long time ago because I have to deal with a wide range of people. I learned 18, 17, 18, 19 years old. You're going to have to be able to talk to a whole lot of different kind of people in this world. You can't be on some, yo, son, like, yo, my nigga, da-da-da-da. You got to learn how to talk. You got to learn how to be in different spaces and different places. And Benny knows that because he's in different spaces and different places now, right? He gets to still be Benny the Butcher, da-da-da. But at the same time, he knows how to talk to different people. Because this thing is bigger than just on the block. But at one point, when you're on that block and everybody's on some block shit, you got to act a certain way on the block, you think that is how the whole world reacts to things. So when he sizes people up, it's this nigga mentality that he's sizing you up based on how cool you present yourself. Right? If you don't present yourself a certain kind of way, somebody with, for lack of a better word, nigga logic, they're going to look at you, they're going to size you up real quick. Because on the street, you kind of got to, right? They're going to size you up real quick, and you're going to be either cool or square. It is what it is. And Benny, being from where he's from, having to do the things he's done, having to be in the spaces he's been in, jail and this, that, and the third, little different things like that, you got to be able to say who's a square and who's not real quick, and you got to be able to know who you can play with and who you can't. So with that mentality, all he's doing is putting people in boxes really quick. So therefore, he's throwing everybody that doesn't agree with him or come with a different point of view or look kind of weird or whatever. They're at home saying this, that, and the third. They're squares. They're nerds. And he's putting them in a box. And with a street nigga like Benny the Butcher, he has nothing but disdain for squares. Because squares get used. Squares are tricks. Squares get played. Squares are corny. So that when you hear him talking about these nerds and weirdos, those are squares to him. He has no respect for a square. A square is a lame. So that's why he says these things and with such disdain for them. But what he doesn't understand is the squares, the lames, the weirdos, those are the people who are putting in that next release that you're dropping. And like I said, Benny and the Butcher and Westside and them, they may be oversaturating this. And I'm just going to be honest, Benny isn't as creative as he needs to be to maintain what he needs to maintain in this business. And at some point, that style is going to, what was new is going to get old. Okay? And I've seen when your act, right? They call it an act. When your image, right? When your act or your image is so niche, it's so determined on street cred or the appearance of street cred. Because let's just be honest, street cred is a myth, right? And I say this with all love. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But with all the street creds, Benny still got robbed and shot at the Walmart. So that street cred shit don't mean nothing. Let's just be honest. Right? It matters a little bit, but at the end of the day, if you fooled, you fooled, right? We all watched Atlanta, right? When Paperboy, I think his car broke down or something, and he started walking and he came across some young dudes. They were like, oh, you Paperboy, right? And they were like, yeah. So run your shit, right? So all that street stuff sound good, but at the end of the day, it's a myth. But to Benny, who was raised in that street culture, he was raised around these street thugs, this, that, and the third. And let's be honest, all them thugs ain't thugs either, gang. All this shit is a myth. We're seeing this. We're seeing it. We're seeing it. I used to have this mentality like, yo, it's a bunch of niggas over there. Yo, you think all them niggas standing on the block is tough? It's 20 niggas right there. 15 of them ain't thorough as you think. But to him, they the street niggas. Half the motherfuckers is nerds, right? They watching this, that, and the third. They watching Full House and all this shit, or the Tanners, what's it like? What I'm saying? What they're watching all this shit, right? They're just as weird as everybody else, but they come out on the block and act tough. So the mentality that he got is everybody gotta be a street nigga or rap is fucking no, it's goofy. It was never run by street niggas. But he wants to blame something for one, let's just be honest. I think the numbers ain't there. I think the numbers is going down. I think they are possibly having they're trying to reinvent themselves over there, Griselda. Like I said, I like these niggas, gang. But at the end of the day, some of this stuff, they're not breaking new molds with it, and you have to. The guys that succeed, they break new molds. And Benny, like I was telling you, Benny, Westside, and Conway, their niche is their actor image is so niche. It's hard for them to go out of context. It's hard for them to get out of character and make a different kind of song. You can hear it. They get out of their comfort zone when the song ain't exactly how they normally used to. It is what it is. So we just saw the clips elevate this shit. They doing the same kind of thing that they doing, but they elevated it. Cause I mean, they got fucking Pharrell. Let's just be honest. Pharrell ain't letting nothing come out till it's right. And this motherfucker's what? A nerd. Right? What Benny don't understand is street niggas ain't making no hellified beats. Okay? Street niggas ain't making no really prophetic rapping. Because street nigga ain't gonna take time to put that pen to the paper. He gotta do street nigga shit. Okay? It ain't a lot of street niggas really writing like all these crazy ass bars. The street nigga gonna be like, yo, I fuck you up. It's gonna be mad basic goofy shit. So Benny doesn't understand the dynamic. He's mad at something that it's not the people's fault. All them people on Twitter that he's arguing with, apparently he was arguing with somebody and that triggered with this. I don't know what he was arguing about, but apparently this was triggered by an argument. All them people he going back and forth with, gang, they're coming from all walks of life, but they've always been around. You've always had those arguments. You've always had these people with their opinion. It's never been all the street niggas are in the chat right now. No, nigga. No. The worst thing niggas on the street got was the internet, because now they street shit all over the internet. Half of them getting locked up. The police ain't even got to do shit now. They be like, oh, there was a murder on Canton Street. Hit Instagram. 5 minutes, we'll know who the fuck it was. So the worst thing that happened to the street niggas was the internet. Okay? But Benny right now, I think Benny is lashing out because things aren't like he wants them to be. He wants people to pretend that that chain with the Pyrex pot is some fire shit. It might have been fire 10, 15 years ago. Right? But we're moving on. Now, let's just be honest. Like I was going to do that video about cocaine rap, da-da-da-da-da. There's a place for everything. But we're starting to understand now that as we're getting older, yes, we want our cocaine rap because it's just like movies. I say this all the time. It's just like movies, TV series. We all watching BMF. We're all watching Power, Book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We all watching all that shit, right? We watched Snowfall. We loved it. Franklin, all this, that, and third, all that. We loved it. We loved it, right? We never seen nothing like Iran, Contra, the FBI, the CIA, all that. We loved it because it was engaging. It had truth sprinkled in. It was a very engaging show. But let's be honest. None of us want to live next door to the fucking crack dealer. We don't want it in our space. Most of us older gentlemen, right? Most of us, I love to listen to cocaine rap. I don't want to ride around with your ass with a brick under the fucking seat, nigga. No, I don't want nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it, right? That's shit you do in your 20s, right? I did a lot of shit in my 20s that I can't do now, won't do now, refuse. But it makes good entertainment, right? I know that the clips, when I listen to the clips, I listen to all, it's power music. I love all that shit. I love all that cocaine, quote unquote, cocaine rap. And I'm gonna explain that in another video. But it's power music, and we love the power music. We love to be entertained, right? So when we put that on, we don't want the nigga really rapping to really he still record, then he go cook up some crack, right? And go make, no, we want you to be a very good storyteller. We want you to tell your story, and then we want you to go own a fucking ambulance company. Pusha T owns an ambulance company, gang. Like he owns a lot of shit. Niggas own property, they do smarter things. Freddie Gibbs, all of them do smarter things. They getting the real estate, this, that, and the third. I don't want to listen to an actual crack dealer that's really dealing crack. So we need to understand what's really going on. We need to understand what's really going on. Because to me, if you were really 40 years old, dabbling and dealing and still scraping the pot for real cocaine, I would say you're a fool. Just gonna be honest. Just like we go watch Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. This motherfucker Arnold Schwarzenegger gotta be 70 years old. Probably can't even hold a gun for too goddamn long. But we still go watch it. What's the name of them damn the movie he got with the old folks, the Expendables or some shit? We got about 4 of them shits, him and Sylvester Stallone, this, that, and the third. We love watching it. We know these motherfuckers, you know they can't do it in real life, but it's a movie. And these records are movies. This is experiences that most of us won't ever have. But we love to hear somebody confidently telling us these stories. But Benny is still in that mind state that you gotta be a part of that to want to even engage with it. And Benny, let's just be honest, even street niggas got opinions about your music. All of them not gonna say it's fucking fire either. So it's a whole conversation. He's talking like, oh, if the street niggas ran it, then I'll be the man. No, it's not like that either, Benny. Let's just be honest, Benny, it's a whole world out here. You can't succeed without these quote-unquote rap nerds. And really, when he's saying rap nerds, he's meaning opposing opinions. Opposing opinions. And some of these people, they love some Drake. He loves Drake, apparently, right? I'm an opposing opinion to that. I like some of Drake's stuff that he did in the past, but I'm not going around shouting out this, that, and the third. Oh, look at episode 3. Look what Drake is doing, da-da-da. So I'm an opposing opinion. So if I don't agree with him and his assessment that Drake is the culture, which I believe he said, right? If I don't agree with that, then guess what? I'm a weirdo, right? I'm a rap nerd. And I don't have no problem being a nerd, right? I've read comic books for years, all that. I watch comic book movies. I nerd behavior. I read a lot. I watch a lot of shows that have nothing to do with no drugs, no rapping, no nothing. A lot of nerd shit I do. I go to nerd places, right? I go to nerd things, right? Fucking, I remember when brunch was for middle-aged white ladies. We're going to brunch. Now niggas at brunch, drunk as fuck, partying like shit, eating waffles. So yeah, I go to things like brunch, gang. So I do a lot of things that's not conducive to the street nigga shit, right? I actively avoid street nigga shit, right? So end of the day, I guess I'm a rap nerd or weirdo Twitter nerd that has an opposing opinion. So that's the easy way. It's a cop-out to be like, oh, these nerds. These are your fans, and these are people that have had just as much opinion as you do. They have just as much right to say what they got going on and their feelings of this thing, because guess what? They do drive the quote-unquote culture. Now, I've had many conversations about the culture. I got videos where I've talked about the culture, this, that, and the third. Now, Benny, when I said that he did have a point, the culture is street-based. The culture is based in a reality of street logic, street events, street things, and we talk about that, Benny. We have every right to do that. You have every right to say what you got to say and say how you're going to say it. But at the end of the day, you got to understand, once you push record and then you put that shit up on whatever distributor that you put it on, Def Jam, right? For whatever fucking reason you went to Def Jam, but you put it on that whoever you signed with, right? Which, let's just be honest, at this point, it's signing with anybody is not very street. Let's just be honest, but that's neither here nor there. Once you hit upload on that, then you give it to the world for their opinion. And it can't all be good. It can't be everybody likes the new Benny the Butcher. It's going to be some people is not going to agree with your sentiment. They're not going to agree with your music. They're not going to agree with your train of thought, right? It don't make them nerds. Now, I get it. We got a lot of people that are kind of weird. They're online all day talking about the same shit all fucking day. Kendrick shows. He's another failed. So it's bots and people it's people that get paid to say some of this stuff. And most of these things are accounts that's out of the country. So they're going to say all kind of narratives because they get a nice little Cashapp with this, that, and the third to drive these narratives, right? So you can't obsess about that. You can't absorb yourself with all these narratives. There are some weird narratives that are, like I said, up is down, down is up, some upside down world and shit. So a lot of these narratives are forced, they're driven, and they are made to just cause dissension. So Benny, you can't get caught up in these narratives, this, that, and the third. What Benny has to understand is when these people are talking, some of this stuff is an agenda, right? Benny can't process that. He think everything is black and white. It's street or it ain't street. Well, Benny, that street stuff is really not, is out of here, gang. All you can do right now is give us your entertainment. You can put that street stuff in your raps. People will listen to it or not. They'll follow you or not. They'll come to your shows. But it ain't no way you're going to block out the rap nerds and you're going to block out the rap noise and the weirdos and say who controls it. Really, right now, the voices of rap have always controlled, the voices of the nerds, or you want to call them, they've always controlled it because they've controlled it with their dollars, right? Let's just be honest. Somebody like me would have never put Nelly in hip-hop. I'm just going to be honest. But the people that love Nelly, they ran and purchased it and made it happen. This, that, and the third. And after a while, I had to be like, yo, I guess Nelly's popping. So I had to start dealing with Nelly. It is what it is. So it wasn't my cup of tea, but a lot of these people that have different opinions and different voices and different trains of thought from different regions than me, they decided, I'm going to buy Nelly, right? I'm going to buy the apple bottom jeans. I'm buying all that, right? So end of the day, those are the people who drove this culture so that where in 2020 or whenever Griselda popped up, the culture was still there because these people decided to purchase and buy things that have nothing to do with their real life. They were buying stuff that don't relate to them at all. They're buying all that hip-hop and cocaine shit you're talking about for you to get to that point. Benny the Butcher's one of these guys like me. We were around when Reasonable Doubt dropped, and we were in the middle. We were in the thick of things, and we were like, damn, this shit is real. And we thought the whole world was just like Reasonable Doubt. It's nothing like that. The whole world, the drug dealer is really the minority, gang. Let me just be honest with you. Drug dealing is not normal. Drug dealing and shooting on the street is not normal. It's really not. The murders on the street, I know we like to think that this street shit is so huge. Let's say a city has 400, let's just spitball, 400 murders in the year. Let's say it. That's a really violent city. 400 murders in a year. That city might have 6 million black people in it. That's thriving every day, going to work, living their lives. So you're going to tell me that that is the majority of things going on is the drug dealer? My guy, it's not. I just need you to understand. There are a lot of drugs being sold, right? But there are not a lot of drug dealers that to normalize what we have going on. At one point, what rappers were rapping about, when they started rapping about drug dealing, this, that, and the third, that was abnormal. Okay? The gangs only make up a very small percentage of the amount of people in the city. It's not normal to be a gangbanger. It's not normal to be a drug dealer. It's not. It's normal when you grow up on that block, right? It's normal in that 4-block radius, everybody's a drug dealer, right? You want to say, you want to think that. In your mind, it's really only a couple black boys that's here and there. That's only a couple of them. Let's just be honest. But to us, that means everything. Getting fresh and getting fly, this, that, and the third, and having money and going to the clubs and showing that you got the money. That shit means everything to that niche market that you're rapping about. Well, that niche market captivated those rap nerds who decided to invest in that and spend their money on that. And some of them put it on real loud to piss their parents off, this, that, and the third, but that's a whole nother subject, right? Some of that stuff is rebellious. They wanted to rebel because no other music talks like rap does, and it's just a different kind of thing that they wanted to be a part of. So, Benny, as you're getting frustrated and cursing out these people, first of all, get off Twitter, stop engaging with these motherfuckers. I got to put the shit down. I'll put the shit down, post something, and put it down for 2 days, because you can't, it's some people on there, their whole purpose is to engage with you. Their whole purpose is to get you riled up and get you to respond. So as soon as you respond, you're the loser for responding, right? You see Cardi B all day. It's people like Cardi B, Talib Kweli. I'm like, how do y'all sit there and engage all day with these people? You'll lose your fucking sanity. So Benny, let's just before I get out of here, this is going to be between me and you, Benny. You got to stop engaging. Get back, just do your music, however fast or slow you want to put it out. You got to understand your music is niche, and it's going to come in, it's going to come out, it's going to come back in, right? You don't got to try to reinvent the wheel or fix it. Just do what you do and stay in your lane. But at the end of the day, you're never going to get it where everything coming out is like Benny the Butcher type music. It's never going to happen. Rap has too many chambers, too many stages, too many things, too many people doing too many different types of rap, right? It's too many branches that fell off the tree. The motherfuckers rapping in country raps and country songs now. So you're never going to be prevalent again, Benny. It's never going to happen. You're cooked out here as far as trying to be number one, this, that, and the third. Your music is niche. It always has been, always will be. So you're going to have to accept that and understand that those rap nerds are the reason your music is where it even is at this point. You need to not piss them off. Okay? Once they get pissed off and leave, then you really going to be on there selling your jewelry, this, that, and the third, because it ain't going to never be the crack cocaine era again, where you're going to be number one, where you're trying to get Beanie Siegel and this, that, and the third. No, all that shit's over with, gang. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to leave it at that, man. Listen, Benny, you have to change with the times. The times have changed. All that street shit, we're learning that nigga logic. We've learned that is a myth. You standing on codes that never really mattered. They never existed, because I can go, you go in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s. Right now, niggas have been breaking them street codes ever since they laid them out. First nigga laid the street code out, the next day nigga broke it. So this shit has never been a lock solid way. Yo, it's nothing but solid niggas in here. You sure? So what I'm saying is, Benny, you gotta adjust your thinking. We don't gotta adjust to you. You gotta understand that street shit is out. Yeah, some niggas that act ignorant and they been on the block too long and they still on some yo shit because they don't have nothing else going on, but you're not on the block no more. Okay? Trying to appeal to street niggas is a lost cause. Just appeal to your fan base. That's who's supporting you. Appeal to your fan base, not the street niggas. I'm going to leave it at that. CLBMG, man. Listen, head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. You got any questions, they will chat with you immediately, all right? Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on The What Show. We will be talking about Benny the Butcher on this next episode, all right? Tap in about 9 o'clock, 9:15. We're going to go, gang. I'm going to let y'all, we're going to get in the comments. We're going to have a conversation. All right, on that note, I'm out of here. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within, with the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin, with the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin, and then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking, and all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like Pats fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here, we ain't the cheese, we the trap.